Hello and welcome to another edition of It's Your City. I'm Bob Crowell and I have the honor and privilege of being the mayor of the greatest city in Nevada, our very own capital. As you know, every couple of weeks I spend some time on ACC TV talking about things that happened at the last board meeting and other things going on around the community. At the last board meeting, let me say that one of the bigger things that happened was the board adopted new water and sewer rates, and those new rates are an increase in rates. The reason for that was because mainly on the sewer side of things, our sewer plant was beginning to fail, and we were concerned that putting additional Band-Aids on the sewer system just would run the risk of catastrophic failure out there, where we would run afoul of, it would just be not a good thing for Carson City if that plant failed. And so the rates will allow us to bond against the revenue from the rates so that we can update and repair and maintain and upgrade the sewer system. They also provide for some upgrades in the local water area, the local water system. Nobody likes to increase rates or taxes. I mean, in very real sense, I mean, the rates and taxes and fees are all dollars out of somebody's pocket, and usually it's the taxpayer's pocket. But in this case, we looked at every conceivable alternative to methods of which we might be able to fix the sewer system. We had cut as many expenses at as many positions as we could in the public works and the sewer and water side. We had looked for every grant we could look for, and at the end of the day, there was just no alternative, and we had to move. And it's my judgment that in the face of the magnitude of the risk that we were facing, that we had to do something. And so those rates were put into effect October 1st. At the same time, we asked the city manager to create an oversight board to review the construction and upgrade of the sewer facility. We've done that when I was on the school board. We've done citizen committees to look at the expenditure of funds on major school projects. It's been a very effective way of allowing the public to get directly involved in the construction process to make sure that everyone is satisfied that the funds are being spent pursuant to the terms of the bonds and pursuant to the terms of the directions of the Board of Supervisors. So in my view, that's a good thing to do. Let me also say that, speaking of fees, taxes, and things of that nature, that probably you've heard that the city manager said that we have been considering increasing road taxes or putting road taxes to a vote of the people. Well, I think that came out on Channel 4 and maybe other channels, television channels. That's somewhat correct and somewhat not correct. Earlier in the year, starting in January and February, the board went through the Capitol and had each of the department heads, each of the departments present the status of their department and their capital needs for the next 5 years. It was pretty clear from, and that was one area where, we talked about the water and sewer rates at that time as well, and started that discussion. But also we heard from the streets department, and it's no secret that the streets are financed through the gas tax and a portion of the sales tax. But with the declining sales of gasoline in our community and elsewhere throughout the state, we were and are running about $1 million short of funds necessary to maintain our streets. So the staff, rightly in my opinion, presented some options. And one of those options was to go to a vote of the people to see if the fuel tax that we currently get could be indexed to the producer's cost, just like Washoe County has done, and I think Clark County is thinking about doing the same thing. Well, that's an option. The board has not gone anywhere with that. And further, that option can only be exercised after 2015, or with the coming of 2015, when the statutes enabling the indexing of gas taxes would allow Carson City to even think about going to a vote of the people on that issue. So Yes, it is out there. It's a consideration as an option in order for us to maintain our roads, but two, it can't happen in at least in the next year and a half. So that's the somewhat correct and somewhat incorrect. Let me also say that another thing that the board talked about was we approved a settlement with the issue that occurred at the animal shelter. Although there had been no litigation from the owner of the dog, Raleigh, there was a good dialogue with her attorney, and we did arrive at a settlement. I'm not going to talk about all the merits and the pros and cons of entering into a settlement, as I'm sure that every one of us has differing views on that. Let me just say that it was important for us to do in order for us to make sure that we perform our overriding goal, and that is to make sure that we have a first-class animal shelter that is doing everything it can to operate efficiently, compassionately, and consistent with the highest standards of animal care. Also, let me close by saying that I'm going to suggest to our board that we have a joint board meeting with the school district. We've done that in the past, and the reason I think it's important is, one, as you know, I frequently state that education of our youth in our community is not just, it's within the jurisdiction of the school board, there's no doubt about it. But it takes a community, because the school district, they run the schools. But when kids are out of school, when our children are out of school, it's a community issue. It's a parent issue, as well as as well as a school issue to a degree. So it takes a well-rounded community, in my opinion, to develop a first-class educational system. And that's what I believe the Race to the Top grant that the school district achieved, that was the best in the nation, by the way, is designed to do. And so I think it would be important for us, from an educational standpoint, for the board to weigh in on, with the school district, to look at what outcomes are required, or what are being thought of and or what are being required by the school district in terms of the education of our youth, and also to determine whether or not the Board of Supervisors can or should be doing anything to assist in that endeavor. I've talked with the school board president, and she believes that this is a good idea as well, so we will be moving in that direction as soon as we can arrange for a joint meeting, which will probably be during the evening at some time. But I think that, one, that's just a good thing to do to keep us all abreast of what's happening. And at the same time, what that will do, if you haven't been to the library recently, in the second floor of the library, to look at the digital system there, the computer layout, you should, because the library right now is playing a very critical role in terms of out-of-school hour education of our students. I saw a video the other day of when the school district had its parent-teacher or its education day for its teachers, and the kids were out of school. The library use of the computers was just packed. And the library is aptly suited because of some grants it's gotten to help our students and help our community in terms of performing anything that's digital for their educational benefit. That's a lot, and I say anything that's digital because there's a lot of different things that encompasses. So I'm not that experienced on it, but I do know what I saw was pretty enheartening in terms of our students using our own public library. So let me close by saying thank you to each and every one of you for what you do to make Carson City a better place to live, work, and play. It can't be done by government alone. It can only be done through the cooperation of our community and our citizens, and indeed our community and our citizens are the most important asset we have in this community. So again, thank you very much.